All right, gentlemen and ladies, here we go again, live and direct from the hotel in Birmingham, Alabama. So, you need to learn how to fight. And even though you may decide to go on the journey of trying to learn how to fight, the chances that you're physically going to be able to become proficient in fighting are very, very low. The reason that I'm suggesting for all of you to go out and practice fighting and practice learning how to fight is for all of the philosophical benefits that are going to come from that experience. I've coached, I would say, in the neighborhood of 3 to 5 thousand people in various stages of their journey, the beginning, the middle, and the end of learning how to fight. Some of them, a very, very small number of them, actually become fighters, professionals. A much higher percentage of them become amateurs. And for the most part, none of them want to do any kind of competition whatsoever. And I think that's great. I don't think you need to do fighting competitions. I try to talk most people out of it, especially women and especially children. But the fact of the matter is that if you do dip your toes into the very extensively deep swimming pool of learning how to fight, it clarifies a unending number of complicated issues for you in your life, in your business life and in your personal life. And that's because, for the most part, growing up here in America, men and women alike are lied to and treated like fools from young children all the way into adulthood. And so it's your responsibility, it's your job to clarify all of these complicated things, all of these contradicting things that you're taught in your childhood and adolescence. Nobody's going to clarify this shit for you. Some people will do the best they can to try to help you. Most people won't. But even the people that do try to help you, it's not their responsibility. And that includes your parents. Your parents can do what they can, but they can only do so much. At some point in time, you have to take over the steering wheel of your own life and start taking responsibility for your own behaviors. And that means you can celebrate your wins, but you also have to accept your losses. You're going to have more losses than wins. So when you experience these losses, it's a learning experience. It's just data. It's just information being given to you about what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you need to improve on. And this is why it's very valuable for most people to hire coaches in various respects, because these are going to be people that have much, much more experience than you do in this endeavor that you're undertaking. And they can give you constructive criticism, and they can help you not waste a bunch of time working on the wrong things or working on the right things but doing them wrong. And that's worth every penny. So where a lot of this confusion comes from is people are going to try to tell you that equality exists, and it doesn't. There's no two things in the world that are equal. There's no two people that are equal. There's no man and woman that are equal. There's no such thing as equal responsibility. There's no such thing as equal respect. There's no such thing as equal love. Okay? If you're in a relationship with someone, one person is going to respect the other person more. One person is going to love the other person more. One person is going to rely on the other person more. One person is going to protect the other person more. One person is going to support the other person more. One person is going to satisfy the other person more. So watch and listen to as much of the red pill community content as you can, but it appears to me that once you start accepting reality for what it is, once you stop denying that the world works the way it does, once you stop denying that you've been created by God or evolution or a combination of the two to be who you are and how you are and what you are, and you accept all that, the next most appropriate and necessary step to take is to take the black pill. And the most important reason that you could do that is so that you can digest that and then move on to the next step, which is to take the white pill. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to white pill you people. And maybe not in the way that you would expect. And maybe sometimes the things that I'll say don't sound like I'm trying to feed you a white pill. It may sound like I'm trying to feed you a black pill. And if you haven't yet taken a black pill, then perhaps you need to do that in order for you to understand that what I'm actually trying to tell you and help you with is taking a white pill and not continuously taking a steady diet of black pills. I think that's foolish, and I think that's a waste of time. I think you need to take the biggest, hardest, heaviest black pill that you can possibly take and digest it as fast as possible so that you can move forward to the white pill situation. And that is, it's going to be all right. Now, does that mean that everything's going to be easy? No, it doesn't. Does that mean that you're going to get what you want? No, it doesn't. Does that mean that the people that you love are going to love you back? No, it doesn't. What it means is you don't need nearly as much of all of these things as you think you do. You actually probably don't need any of it. So where you may have some hesitation or some failures, these are learning experiences, and that's all they are. And the faster you can get knocked down and get back up and keep going, the better off you're going to be. And so you can learn all this stuff through fighting. You're going to have to celebrate your wins. You're going to have to kind of learn from your losses and not let them really set you back in your overall plan of life. And being able to learn from your mistakes is a critical skill that you have to develop. And so getting punched in the face is the best way, by far, to learn how to do that. So go out and buy yourself a set of gloves, get the right equipment, get a custom mouthpiece. They're like, I don't know, $100. It's not a big deal, right? And find a place where you can find some people that are going to be your friend and still punch you in the fucking face. Obviously out of love, not out of hate. So don't get it confused. Well, one thing that people are way, way too sensitive about these days is just a little bit of physical violence. Now, if you've never experienced physical violence in any measurable amount, then you're going to be hypersensitive to this shit. And you're a bitch. You shouldn't be. You should be very, very, very comfortable with other people being physically violent to you. And then you should be fairly comfortable with being in a position where you're going to be faced with a decision where you're going to have to really be able to calculate if it's appropriate to be physically violent with other people. And when it is, you have to have no hesitation, and you need to be able to give out doses in appropriate amounts of physical violence very quickly and very effectively so that you can solve problems that need to be solved with violence. If you think violence is never an option or fighting isn't the answer or whatever, then I don't know what to tell you. Stop paying taxes. Like, fucking figure it out. You're tripping. Uh, you need to learn here that there's no such thing as equality, and you'll be very, very benefited by learning things like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Knowing is superior to hoping. Hard work beats belief. You know, like confidence is important, but preparation beats believing in yourself every time. You believe in yourself all you want, homie. let me let me know if that works out for you. You're gonna go to school and believe in yourself? It's a fool's game. How about go to school? How about prepare? How about study? How about spend the calories required to study? How about if you got a competition coming up, run, train, get your cardio up. How about that? How about this believing in yourself shit is a fucking joke? You probably shouldn't. For most people, you probably shouldn't believe in yourself that much. You should probably work a lot harder. You should probably eat less and work harder. And then believe in that. You should probably start believing that you don't need all the things that you think you do. You should believe that you can do without. Right? So yeah, look at all this red pill stuff. It's legit. Look at all this black pill stuff. It's legit. Take the red pill as fast as you can. Take the black pill as fast as you can. And now you're in a position that you have earned a spot on the team that is the white pill team. Because what you're going to quickly be faced with is the philosophical idea that you are not a victim. You are intimately connected mentally and physically to your own circumstances, and that your circumstances are a result of your choices. That's the most white pilling thing you could ever actually integrate into yourself, is that you are way more in control than you think you are. And so what I've seen, a lot of people, they do all this work in their life, they do all this self-improvement, they get right up to the ledge of actual personal responsibility for their life, and they get to this point where they realize everything you do matters. Every single fucking thing that you think and that you say and that you do actually matters. And at that point in time, they fucking fail miserably. They crumble. They crack like a cracker. It's so weak, but it's very common. Very common. It's very understandable. It's not that I don't get it. It's not that I'm like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody get all the way to doing all this self-improvement and get to the point where they realize that everything they do matters and then break? Because that's the heaviest burden to bear. That's the heavy part. That's the hard part. Taking the red pill is a child's game. Taking the black pill is a child's game. Taking the white pill is a grown-ass man's game. You're not a victim. And simultaneously, at the same time, you've been created to be here, and there ain't nobody who's coming to fucking save you. And that's the white pill. You can do it. You can do it. You can fucking do it. Most of you won't. Why not? I don't know. It's easier than you think. If you put your addictions aside, you're already 100 steps ahead of your competition. And that's all mental. You think you need this shit that you don't need. You probably think a lot of people love you that don't love you. You probably think that most of those same people that you think love you and they don't really love you, you probably think that they need you, and they don't. And so some of that's hard to swallow. The fact that most of these people don't actually love you, some of them don't even fucking like you, and that none of them actually need you for shit, because it's everything that they do matters. You have influence, but you have no power over other people. You have influence a little bit, like a really little bit, like a very, very, very small amount. If you spend a lot of energy trying to convince people of things, of trying to convince people of conclusions that they haven't already come to themselves, you will quickly learn that that is a loser's game. Don't be a loser. For the most part, people choose to be losers because it's easy, it's convenient. It's a perfect excuse for all. And it's a slippery slope. If you start being a loser in one aspect of your life, you're going to choose that, and you're going to double down on that, and you're going to commit to that in multiple ways. There's going to be a lot of other things that you face as a loser. And you don't need to do that. You don't really need as much sleep as you think. You don't really need as much food as you think. You'll be all right with a little less sleep and a little less food. You'll be all right with a little more hustle. You'll be all right with a little more philosophy and a little less weakness. So figure it out. Figure out that everything you do matters. You're not a victim. Every single thing that you put into your body is because of you, not because of someone else. It's because of you. You could just as easily choose to not put that in your body as easy as it is to put that in your body. And that's your eyeballs just as much as your mouth. That's your ears just as much as your eyes and your mouth. That's your presence just as much as it is anything else. That's your ability. You're like a radio frequency receptor. So even going near people that are negative pieces of shit puts that frequency onto you. And it sounds woo-woo, weird bullshit. I know, man. I know. And it is. It's lame as shit. But it's also true. It's also true. There's a guy that I used to be really good friends with, who I'm not friends with anymore, but he decided to blow his life out of the water and be a loser instead of a winner. But there was a time when he was deciding that he was going to start to do JiuJitsu. And it was because I had preached and exposed so much about how JiuJitsu had improved my life that he thought it would just be like an easy thing, you know, because he had no real understanding of how hard you have to work at something like that to get over the beginning stages where all you're doing is getting your ass whooped. All you're doing is getting exposed and beat down and completely torn apart mentally and emotionally and spiritually as well as physically. And what I was trying to explain to him was the physical part almost doesn't fucking matter once you see the big picture. It's the mental part that's the most important part. And so I watched this guy who's like a little skinny, weak dude, who's like a pothead and that type of thing, actually stick with it long enough to begin the kind of the tail end of the beginning stages and the beginning end of the intermediate stages of going through a life change. So, and I told him from the beginning, I was like, jiu-jitsu will save your life, but it will also ruin your life. Because the person who you are now, if you start to do jiu-jitsu and you do it for 3 years, the person that you are today will die. You will not be the same person. You will become a completely different person. And what that will do is that will expose almost everything about all of your relationships with all the people you care about. Starting with your girlfriend, your family, then your friends, then your business relationships, everything. And what happened with this dude? Well, he got pretty decent at jiu-jitsu. One of the claims to fame that he had was that there's these SWAT team guys that would come in and do jiu-jitsu with us, and I'll never forget, there was a day where this guy, he's like 5'10", 5'11", maybe like 155, 160 pounds, skinny dude. Never lifted weights or anything ever in his life, was just kind of like a skater, surfer type guy. But didn't really skate a lot, didn't really surf a lot, just kind of dabbled a little bit. And when he got into doing jiu-jitsu, he became friends with the dude who was the owner of the jiu-jitsu school. They were both super potheads, and that's what bonded them together, and then enabled this guy who was my friend to continue going to this jiu-jitsu place for a couple years. And a couple years into his training, he actually started to get enough technical repetitions that there was a day where he triangled this huge, like roided up to the ears SWAT team guy who was like 6'4", 260, shredded beast mode, super roided out cop in San Diego, right? And man, he triangled this dude and choked the fucking brakes off this guy, because this guy did not want to tap. He was disrespecting the shit out of this triangle, and he was so deep in it there was no getting out. And it was beautiful. It was to me, it was so marvelous to see this little stoned out of his fucking brains pothead kid triangle and choke unconscious this super roided out SWAT team, San Diego SWAT cop. And it was like, yeah, homie, the steroids aren't going to save you. And it was then when this kid finally made the changeover in terms of his confidence and his respect for actually what he was doing there, and he wasn't just going there to be a pothead with the guy that owned the place and have this social connection. When he finally tapped out this super roided up San Diego SWAT team guy, then it was from that point on where his life was ruined. He lost his girlfriend. It destroyed his relationship. The new him was a completely different person, right? The old him was dead. There was a new him now. And he learned all of these things that I'm talking about from my little notes here. Hard work beats talent. Hard work beats belief. Hard work beats steroids. Technique beats strength. There's no such thing as equality in any way, anywhere in the world. That's a lie. And then he started learning things about people. He started learning things like most people that say they love you don't. Most people that say they need you don't. Most of the people that you think you love, you don't. Most, most of these things that you think are true aren't true. You're following the path of least resistance in your own mind because you don't want to face reality. And that's a sad existence. But you don't ever get to learn the truth without allowing what you thought before to become dead. Nobody gets out alive. We are all destined for death. The faster you can visualize that and accept that as part of your life experience, the faster you can begin to overcome the fear of death, and then you won't be governed by scarcity. If you're still operating on fear and scarcity, you're never going to learn much. You're going to take the easy way out all the time. You're going to be just an imposter of your real self. And you weren't created to be that way. Like I've said in some of my other videos, I don't know that you could really accuse me of being whatever they think a Christian is now, especially in North America. It's such a joke. But I do think that you are created by somebody, and that the way in which you have been created is it's an intentional creation. So you are the way you are supposed to be. You are who you are supposed to be. And you are what you are supposed to be. And it is a huge, disrespectful middle finger to the Creator for you to disregard that. It appears to me, from my observation and experience, and from looking into other people's research that I respect, that it is absolutely necessary for you to acknowledge what you are and embrace that. It's also absolutely necessary for you to learn and understand the difference between good and evil. And if you deny that there's a difference between good and evil, well, I think people like you should all be put on an island to live together somewhere, and you can work it out between each other. Hot take for the day, and I'll wrap this up. For you guys that are still looking for advice about dating and relationships and stuff like that, I get it. Don't ever stop learning about it. Don't ever fall off. Stay on your toes. Stay sharp. If she tells you that she doesn't care about money, she's lying. All right? Basically, all of these red pill content creators and dating coaches and relationship counselors and everything like that. This is going to sound bad. This is going to sound like I'm taking a dig, but I'm really not. And I mean this in the most honorable, loving way that could possibly be taken. But all these people in the psychology community that are making videos, in the red pill community, in the dating and relationship advice space, and marriage counseling and self-help and all that kind of stuff, what they're telling you, man, I wish there was a better way to describe this, but I have yet to come up with it. But what these people are actually telling you is that women are basically prostitutes. Sorry. I didn't make it that way. I just work here. All right? What they're telling you is men are weak and women are weak and men are cowards and women are cowards and men are tricks and women are prostitutes. It sounds fucked up, but if you acknowledge that women selling pussy is the oldest profession and that spycraft is the second oldest profession, and I'm fairly confident that you can, you can do as much research as you want to try to disprove all that, but you won't be able to. Okay? So do with that information what you will, but understand that the reason that I'm reiterating this stuff, obviously I didn't come up with these ideas myself. This shit has been said for thousands and thousands of years, passed down through every generation of human existence. So don't get fucking mad at me for this shit. But what I'm trying to convey, and it's debatable how good I'm doing it, how good of a job I'm doing at this, is this is the white pill that you need to take. Being angry about it doesn't solve anything. Disconnecting from this is a huge failure. The move that you want to do is accept reality and then operate your own self and your decisions and your behaviors within that so that you can be effective and successful. And if you can stop being such a bitch and being all triggered all the time and hurt and upset by just regular words, right? Then you're going to be all right. You're going to be just fine. It's not even a big deal. It's not even a fucking big deal. It's not even a problem. Ask a chick what she wants from a man. She's going to be like, I want a provider. No shit. If you haven't seen my video about why guys date strippers, check that video out because it's no different. It's easier. This is why we deal with escorts. This is why we deal with prostitutes that are actually straight up prostitutes. This is why we deal with strippers. This is why they exist. And if you don't think that any of that is like honorable or necessary or whatever, I would argue to you that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because all of those dynamics in our social experience exist in all cultures and all communities, uniformly, blanketly spread all throughout the entire world. Okay? Everywhere. So, don't shoot the messenger. Okay? I'm not that guy. I'm just here to tell you it's gonna be okay. Don't get mad. Accept reality and then run with it. Does that mean you have to go out and pay for sex? Dude, you're paying for sex. Dude. You're paying for sex, okay? I mean, holy shit, man. You're already paying for sex. Does that mean you need to go out and call women prostitutes to their face? No. They don't like if you do that. That's not going to work out very well for you. That's going to cause lots of problems and isolate you from people instead of help you build strong bridges between you and other people. So no, don't do that. That's like something you want to just, acknowledge and discuss within very small, trusted groups of people that are aware of all of these dynamics of reality and are on the path of acceptance, not on the path of denial. That's not going to be most people. Most people are going to freak out when you start to try to get them to face this shit. Okay? So just be cool. Don't be a weirdo. Don't be going around fucking red pill raping people. That's ridiculous. That's foolish. That's self-destructive. That just means you're taking the let me try to curtail my foul language. Don't take the easy way out and just destroy your relationships and your life connections with people by saying all kinds of harsh shit to them all the time. Don't like watch these videos that I make and then like repeat all this shit to people because you think it's going to help them. It's it's not. It's made for you to help you because you've probably gone down some interesting paths on the internet and ended up here. And so I'm here to tell you, okay, bro, it's going to be all right. Turn back around, get a better job, make more money, go get yourself going at the gym, get stronger, get better cardio, eat better food, become healthier. Forgive people. Don't be angry. Don't be resentful. Be grateful. Don't be ungrateful. Be grateful. Be grateful that you're here. Be grateful that you're here now in the greatest time to ever be alive, ever. You were born for this. So don't bitch out. Don't be a punk. Don't step back. Once you've made it this far and you realize everything you do makes a difference, now is not the time to back up. Now is the time to circle the wagons and move forward. That's all I got for you. All we do is win. So stay winning.